everybody, welcome to another episode of Every Marvel Movie Ever. I am your host, Gabe Thomas. With me, as always, is your co-host, Francisco Alcala, and today we are talking about the Fantastic Four movie from 1994, a movie that was never meant to be released, and actually has kind of like a tragic story behind it in the way that everybody worked on this really hard. They didn't know it wasn't supposed to be released, so everybody working on it was really working their ass off, but then they were like, oh, no, we were never going to put this out. So you just all wasted your time on other, like, you could be working on other projects right now, and they thought, this is a big Marvel movie, it could be, like, great exposure, but that was not the case. This was released, or it wasn't released, but I guess it was completed on May 31st of 1994 with a budget of
$1 million.
It was directed by Ollie Sassone, who is mostly a director of music videos, but he also directed a few episodes of Mutant X. And do you know what Mutant X is?
I do not.
It's like this weird
knockoff X-Men?
No, but it's like kind of Marvel licensed thing, like an X-Men show. I don't know. It's so confusing, but like all of them just have telekinesis, but it is Marvel, and it's produced by like Avi Arad. And it's from like 2000. It went from 2001 to 2004. I've never seen an episode of it.
I've never even heard of it.
But it's all mutants who, like, it's nobody you've ever heard of. And by that, I don't mean, like, it's obscure characters who are in fucking X Factor Power Pack or something. Like, it's just
made-up characters.
It's made-up fucking characters, as far as I know, anyway. So I thought that was interesting, mostly just because I like when somebody works on two weird Marvel projects, because we're still not in real movies. Like, it still isn't a real movie.
When are we getting to real movies?
Blade, we got 2 more movies.
Okay.
And then we're finally into the real shit. So this was made by a German film company that I didn't even write down because I was going to mispronounce it. But
you should have tried anyway.
It was only made so they could keep the rights to the Fantastic Four. The only reason this ever went into production or anything is just to keep the rights. Not because they were passionate about making a Fantastic Four movie or anything. Because for a while, I mean, people probably don't know about this or at least don't think about this anymore, since Disney just owns everything now. Marvel has all their characters back. But originally, in the 90s, Marvel went bankrupt and sold all their rights to companies, Fox and Sony mostly. They had to make a movie every certain number of years. I think it's like 5 years or something, or else they lose the rights and Marvel gets the rights back. So that's why this movie was made, and that's why the 2015 Fantastic Four movie was made after the 2 ones in the early 2000s, but then they were like, oh, okay, well, we need to make another one to keep the rights. So that's a big thing with these movies, is that the reason most of them aren't great is because they're only made, well, they're kind of heartless, just because the only reason they exist is so companies could keep the rights, but it's like, if you're not going to make anything good with it, why even do that? It's really dumb, and it's not a good way to run your business. The thing is, this movie was never meant to be released, but trailers still played in theaters for this movie. And Mark Ruffalo auditioned for Dr. Doom, and Patrick Warburton auditioned for The Thing, which Patrick Warburton would still be a great pick for The Thing, I think, because he's just got that voice.
I want to see that version of the movie, though.
What's this character in that horrible Emperor's New Groove? I hate that movie.
I know
Kronk
what you're...
or something?
I don't know.
That. I want to hear that voice coming out of The Thing.
He must have taken him back to his village, so if we find the village, we find him, and if we find him, we find Cusco. Oh, yeah. It's all coming together.
And for those of you who don't know, Patrick Warburton was like, he was the Tick. He was of course Kronk or whatever his fucking name is in Emperor's New Groove.
If you've watched any episode of Family Guy, you've heard his voice.
That's right. He's what's his face, the cripple guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name. He's like the teacher on Kim Possible.
He has the exact same voice in everything he does.
It's
very obvious who he is.
He's got a really iconic voice. I would like to hear him voice somebody in the Marvel universe, like maybe like in a Guardians or a Thor movie, or it's like something cosmic.
I want to hear him. I want to hear him as the Watcher.
That'd be great if they didn't get Jeffrey Wright already. This has a 3.9 out of 10 on IMDb and a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is higher on Rotten Tomatoes than I thought it would be. Like, I had a lot of fun with this movie, but like, obviously the critical reception
so much more.
The critical reception it's not as bad as I thought it would be. Where like, this isn't even the lowest rated Fantastic Four movie on Rotten Tomatoes. The official tagline was part muscle, part elastic, part fire, part invisible. Together, it's clobbering time, which is a horrible tagline.
What does that even mean?
Part invisible, part that's shit. Just say it's clobbering time. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's fine. The movie rights for this cost $250,000. And there's a 2015 documentary that we were just watching a little bit of called Doomed, The Untold Story of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four by Marty Langford, because it's important to give credit to those. And I think it's a pretty well put together documentary. It gets into not just the cast, but the director and Roger Corman, and fucking Lloyd Kaufman is in it.
Really?
Our boy Lloyd Kaufman is in that documentary.
What does he have to do with it?
Exactly, that's why I said, but they were going to give the rights to Troma for this. And
Oh,
Troma
God.
was not to be like a Troma movie
Okay.
where the KKK are fucking fighting Sergeant Kabuki Man or anything, but like, just like to produce it. But that would be incredible. Especially since Lloyd Kaufman is in Guardians of the Galaxy, and James Gunn wrote Tromeo and Juliet, so there are Marvel connections with Troma.
What the fuck?
And I think Troma and Stanley were friends, which is amazing, because Lloyd Kaufman fucking rocks. This was, of course, produced by, I would call him the most famous B-movie producer of all time, Roger Corman, who produced X, The Man with X-Ray Eyes, Carnosaur, a whole bunch of other shit that I can't even remember, because he's produced like 700 films.
Really?
Fucking Slumber Party Massacre. I don't have any of this in front of me. I just have to remember these things. So it's pretty cool that Roger Corman's behind it. Roger Corman has one of the best voices in Hollywood. Just like you can understand why he produce all these movies is just because that voice is very persuasive.
And he came into the office and he said, I know you want to do a sequel. When a star plays a role in a successful film, he always asks for more money.
Right.
I will star in the next picture, no more money, and I will do an additional job. And I said, what is that? And he said, I'll direct. And I said, Ron, you always look like a director to me.
Roger Corman is infamous for making movies with like really low budgets, but he's really good at utilizing that budget. So most B-movie directors or producers, they'll take their very low budget and they'll like disperse the money in the wrong places and like the things they think is important, like,
or they'll put it into one thing.
Yeah, exactly. But like they'll overdo it with the special effects or with the actors or whatever. Roger Corman is very good in the way that he'll put a lot of the budget towards the music, so you have good music. He'll put it towards some visual effects, but he's not like, I'm gonna put $800,000 into the Thing costume. Like, so he's very good in that way. Like, he's a very efficient filmmaker is what I would call him. And the thing is, this movie was never meant to be released, but I think it's better than a lot of the ones that were released. I think it's more fun.
A little bit.
Then like this movie has a lot more heart than a lot of the other ones does, and
I feel like in this one they actually tried.
Yeah,
they actually cared,
and they had good characters. They don't just have Frank Castle who's just a guy with a gun. That could be any other movie. Batman. I really like The Punisher from 1989, but that could be any movie. Like, that doesn't have to be a Punisher movie.
That literally has nothing to do with The Punisher, pretty much.
You gotta be very specific if you're gonna have a rock man, or part fire, part plastic, or whatever the fuck it said. I watched this movie 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, or whenever it was, and I was gonna watch it again. I was gonna be so prepared, read a bunch of Fantastic Four shit before this. I just didn't, because I forgot Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was coming out. I had to put all my efforts through watching a bunch of 3-hour Tarantino movies, so that's what I did this week instead of researching Fantastic Four. But I think I can go off memory, because this is a very memorable movie, if nothing else. So it starts with Actually, no, it doesn't start with footage from earlier in the movie. But whoever uploaded this, which is just the YouTube upload, which is pretty much the only way to watch this movie, they put, like, the trailer before the movie.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
That's not the movie's fault, but, like, don't fucking upload it like that. Yeah. That's weird.
It looks like they took it straight from a VHS.
Oh, they absolutely did. Because, like, there's, like, tracking marks and, like, there'll be, like, lines on the screen sometimes. And it says, like, recording in the corner.
I think when the movie first starts, it literally says VHS in the top left corner.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. It's like the blue screen, and then the movie turns on. And, as long as we have the movie, I can't complain too much. It's just in space. The credits start out very Superman 1978, where it's just credits flying through space. One could say it ripped it right off, but whatever. We're in the science classroom. We're talking about light speed or whatever, and of course Reed, he's answering all the questions for the teacher or whatever, and he's played by Alex Hyde White. He was young Henry in Indiana Jones The Last Crusade. Young Henry is Indiana Jones' father, played by Sean Connery throughout the movie, but that movie starts with, like, young Indiana Jones and how he gets the whip and how he gets the hat. It's basically Solo, a Star Wars story, if it could happen in 5 minutes and was really well done and fun. But, so that's interesting that he played him in that, because there's a another Indiana Jones credit in this later. And he's in Catch Me If You Can, which is a Spielberg movie I just haven't seen. Everybody loves it. I never got around to it, and I probably never will. Something about Colossus, which is this radioactive energy source, whatever. And so Victor's... Space stuff. Victor and Reed are talking about more space stuff. Victor is played by Joseph Culp, who's the son of Robert Culp, who's a very famous TV actor from the 60s. He was on I Spy. He's the grandpa in Santa's sleigh, dad. So
just to take it away from Fantastic Four for a second, that's a great movie.
Santa's sleigh,
yeah.
right? Every Christmas. You got The Essentials, It's a Wonderful Life, Home Alone, Santa's sleigh. Those are the three you need. And Die Hard and Batman Returns. So Reed's basically telling him that, Victor, fuck you and fuck your space calculations because they're wrong. And he's just dropping a bunch of exposition about how, oh, we've been working on this for 4 years, buddy, and we're gonna do it. And it's this really horribly shot conversation because, like, so if you're shooting a movie, one of the first rules is fill up the fucking frame. They have Reed on the left side, Victor on the right side, and then there's this huge gap of space where you can just, like, see the university and people walking around in the background in the middle. Like, they are on 1/4 of each side of the screen, and then there's a half of the screen in the middle where it's just nothing. It's really bad. Like, I might have watched this 2 weeks ago, but I fucking remember that shot because it's really horrible.
Bad.
They're gonna run the simulation, so Victor's like, Reed, calm your tits. We're gonna run this whole thing, and then there's this weird hipster guy with, like, a beard and glasses, and he's just playing chess with some old dude, and he's spying on him, which is something that happens in every fucking one of these made-for-TV or just low-budget Marvel movies, is somebody is spying on somebody else.
Yeah,
it always happens.
Why is that such a big thing?
It's never not happened, because I think
it never makes any sense.
That's a big, like, 60s to 80s TV trope, is just like, oh, there's somebody mysterious following our hero, and then eventually they hear about halfway through the episode, or towards the end of the second act, the hero finds this guy, and he's like, who are you working for? And the guy's like, oh, I'm working for Joe Giuseppe, the big crime boss, and he's like, oh, I'll go take Joe Giuseppe's ass down, and then it's a minute of really out of shape 50-year-olds in fucking business suits, just, like, hiding behind slabs of meat and shooting each other until eventually the hero shoots the villain. He falls down and he's like, oh, I'm taking you to jail or whatever. Because TV's bad. TV's bad until, like, oh shit, I can't say that because Twin Peaks. The TV, alright, there's exceptions.
TV is always bad except for the TV shows that aren't bad.
TV was really bad until, like, 2005, pretty much, because, like, there's exceptions. You got your Seinfeld and your Twin Peaks and shit like that. Most TV shows were the same for a while. Now you get a lot of good stuff. You even get good superhero TV. I mean, I just started watching The Boys last night. It's fun. It's a little too much like, oh, we're explicit with our superheroes. Everybody's dick is out, and there's just like this bit when they're, like, walking through the superhero bar, and, like, there's, like, an Ant-Man hero, and he just runs into, like, a girl's at, like, a bar. Like, he just, like, dives in there. It's like, oh, we're pushing. It's like the Mark Millar philosophy. We're like, oh, we can do whatever we want. We're pushing all the limits. Like, it's not shocking.
It's like Deadpool, but trying too hard.
Really bad, yeah. As James Clement would say about Deadpool, look at my balls. We cut to Mrs. Storm's boarding house, and this is my least favorite part of this whole movie.
Weird, and I don't like it for one big reason.
Yeah, I think it's a very obvious reason. Johnny and Sue are, like, 12 years old, and Johnny's just playing video games with some random guy in this boarding house.
It's probably, like, his dad or something.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, I guess, I don't know.
You
never see him again.
Yeah.
Just some fucking adult playing video games with this little kid. It's probably fine.
Probably not creepy.
That's not the creepy part. The creepy part is fucking grown-ass Reed Richards shows up to the house.
Grown-ass college student.
And kisses, like, 12-year-old Sue Storm on the cheek. He gives her a little peck. And then she's, like, looking at him with, like, this, oh, he's so dreamy look. And then later she's like,
he's dreamy.
And then Johnny's like, you're gross. And yeah, you are fucking gross,
so
you weirdo.
Fucking gross. She's 12 years old. Reed Richards is like 30.
Yeah.
But whatever. He can be in college, fine. He's like 22. It's still fucking weird.
That's still 10-year age gap.
It's disgusting. They're going to go watch the demonstration of Victor and Reed's machine. They're doing their experiment. Everybody's gathering around, and they're like, "Oh, it's working!" But then the experiment starts failing.
It's not working.
It's not working. And then Ben Grimm, who's played by Michael Bailey Smith. You know what? The best thing he's done, he was Super Freddy in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. He was in both the Hills Have Eyes remakes, and he was in Men in Black 2 as a character. I don't remember. But he runs into the experiment. Victor takes the full force of the fucking blast. He gets electrocuted in this weird bad lightning that it's in every movie. He's it's gonna turn him he's getting shocked by bad lightning that will later turn him into Bad Lightning Man, which is what all these movies seem to think Doctor Doom is just a guy. In the fucking 2005 movies, he's just a guy who shoots lightning out of his hands. It's so wrong. I don't think they ever... No, you know what? The only reference in those 2000s movies to Latveria is that's where he got the mask, as, like, a gift from Latveria. Okay, so somehow it all went to Victor, and none of it went to Reed. Reed's just fucking dandy.
This is fine.
This doctor shows up, and he's like, "Oh, Reed, the burns were too severe, and he's dead now." Also,
dead in the biggest air quotes possible.
Yeah, because it's like, oh yeah, I'm sure fucking Victor Von Doom died 12 minutes in. Also... They never call him Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, he's always just Victor.
And later on, I mean, I guess it would be weird if Reed Richards, his friend, was like, "Hi, Victor Von Doom," but it's kind of weird because later he's calling himself Dr. Doom, and Reed just can't figure it out. Like, that's weird, right? Like
I mean, before calling himself Dr. Doom, he just called himself Doom.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I mean, I guess you wouldn't catch on because that just sounds like the most generic villain name possible.
But I mean, he didn't get his PhD for nothing, Franny.
Yeah,
you gotta flex that you're a doctor. That's what all doctors do. They're just flexing on us. Yeah. Then so this doctor, and I think this doctor's the hipster guy from earlier, and he's just like, "Reed, Victor is dead," and Reed's like,
"Where are you taking him?" "To the morgue."
Like, no fucking shit. Yeah, where else are you gonna fucking take him?
Fucking duh.
And also, the guy they got for Ben, he's this big guy, which is good, because Ben should be a bruiser. Michael Chiklis is the perfect pick for Ben in the 2000s movies, but then they got fucking Jamie Bell, Billy Elliot himself, this tiny fucking guy who mocapped Tintin in the 2015 one. He's this fucking tiny guy, and he turns into the Thing. Like, you can't take that fucker seriously. And so the doctor's like, "Oh, you know what, Dr. Doom? We can do one thing to save you.
We can rebuild him."
Yeah, I guess they fucking put a metal suit on him with a green cape. And you know what this fucking movie does? 10-year time jump, as if that makes anything better. So now Victor's 30. Not Victor, Reed is 30. And Sue is 22
30-something.
or whatever. So
still gross.
It's still pretty bad. So now,
I mean, to think that at this point his hair's starting to turn gray.
Yep, he's got the salt and pepper in the sides. And they've built the spaceship. Ben Reed, they built the spaceship, and Ben wants to be the pilot. And there's a lot of stuff in here which I have the fan theory that Ben Reed want to fuck. And I don't just have this fan theory in this movie. I have this fan theory in the comic books, in the 2005 movies, and the 2015 movie. They just have a lot of this chemistry that isn't entirely friendly, and I just can't describe it. and
they just have some weird sexual tension.
They really do, and I think that, but I think that they're in love, and you know, fucking good for them. That's really progressive.
Who needs Sue anyway?
Right? I think that they should have gotten together.
Especially when she's like 10 years younger than him.
If they put me in charge of a Fantastic Four movie one day, which I don't know why that would happen, but if it ever happened, I'm gonna subvert everyone's expectations. And so they need a crew for the spaceship. So they show up and they go to the Sue Storm boarding house to wrangle some kitties, which is kind of disturbing because they're 30-year-old men. And Ben's like,
kind of a bad idea because they're going to space, and
they're just like, we'll get these kids that we knew from back in the day.
Get these two random kids that kind of liked space a little bit.
And Ben says,
"They may not have Harvard diplomas, but they know more about this project than anyone else on Earth."
Which, like, why? Why would they know that?
Yeah, and that sounds kind of illegal
for them to know.
Aren't you not supposed to tell people about government projects?
I think a rocket launch is pretty confidential. But alright, whatever, fuck it. Because they meet up with Sue and Johnny. Sue is played by Rebecca Stab, who isn't in... That's an awesome name, Rebecca Stab with 2 A's. That's great. That's a good, like wrestling diva name. But, she's not in much, or at least not much that...
People care about.
Not many big things, but all 4 of the Fantastic Four had really good careers after this, so that's good. That's always good when you're, like, in something weird, and especially, they all had really positive attitudes about being in this, and then they were all really crushed when they found out it wasn't being released, because they really brought their all. But at least they all went on to do better things. And Jay Underwood plays Johnny Storm. He's an Uncle Buck, and he was on the Young... what's it called? The Young... It's called something bullshit. You'd think it'd be called The Young Adventures of Indiana Jones, but it's called, like, The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. He was on that for a couple episodes. So we have 2 people who not only were in Indiana Jones things, different Indiana Jones things, but they were both in the young version. Like, fucking Reed Richards was in... Or was it Reed Richards? I don't even remember. One of them's in fucking an actual Indiana Jones movie, but he plays a young character. Then one of them's in the fucking Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. It's so fucking weird. That's so specific. It couldn't just be Indiana Jones. It had to be Young Indiana Jones properties.
They got them specifically for that reason. Unless they were
weird.
after.
No, they were before. At least Last Crusade was before, because that was 89. It's so fucking weird. Whatever. I find that fascinating. There's this really weird moment where Sue and Reed stare at each other for a very long time, an uncomfortably long time, and of course they all stand together, and fucking Mrs. Storm says,
"Look at you. The Fantastic Four."
And I wanted to shoot myself because that is so stupid.
Is that better or worse than in the 2015 one where...
I don't think I saw the 2015
But
one.
I'm sure you've seen the clip where they get their name, where...
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
It's fantastic.
Yes, it is. Guys, I got it.
And he's about to say something, and then it gets cut off, and he goes, Fantastic Four. Is it better or worse?
Never seen that, but that sounds so much worse.
This is acceptable for a campy 90s movie.
They have a scene exactly like that later in the movie.
Yeah, it's better, though, because at least this is just
it
like...
makes sense a little.
This movie's fun. This movie is actually fucking fun. That movie's fucking awful.
Can't wait to
movie.
watch it
It's
because I've
bad.
never seen it.
Oh my
and I've
God.
heard only terrible things about it.
That's one of the only Marvel movies since, like, 2013 that I haven't seen in the movie theater. I was gonna see it, and I knew it was bad, and I still wanted to see it because I always like to see these movies, but I just didn't. Like, I wish I had seen it, but I didn't see that movie until, like, 2 years after it came out or whatever. It's really fucking awful. This movie is fucking Avengers Endgame compared to that movie. This is the worst element of the whole movie. It's worse than the Sue and Reed thing, is the weird troll man in the sewer.
What is he even there for?
The whole movie, I thought he was supposed to be the mole man, because it seems like he's the mole man. He runs this underground group of people. You'd think they'd be fucking mole people.
Because they're underground, literally.
In the documentary that we were watching, I watched about the first, 30 minutes. You watched probably about...
10.
Yeah, 10 or 15 or whatever. Before you came in, they were talking about how it was going to be the mole man the whole time, because that makes sense. But then they had to change it to the jeweler, because I guess there was a thing with the rights where they couldn't use the mole man. They weren't sold everybody, they could only use the 4 Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom. So they couldn't, and I guess fucking Alicia Masters, but why can you have Alicia Masters in there and not fucking the mole man?
Yeah,
it's
okay.
Weird.
Who's gonna argue over the rights of the mole man?
He's not anybody.
Exactly.
He's one of the better known Fantastic Four villains, but he's not interesting or anything. So the whole movie, I called him the mole man because I thought he was the mole man, but it turns out he's this fucking guy named the jeweler who was invented for this movie.
Do they even say his name in
No.
the entire movie?
No, well, I don't think they do. I had to Google it. I think I looked it up during the movie because I'm like, who the fuck is this guy who can smell diamonds from miles away?
Which is a really weirdly, specific power.
Yeah, and it's a horrible fucking power. And so he's watching these armed guards take this briefcase out of a truck, and he's like, oh, I can smell a diamond from 100 miles away. I don't know why he's the leprechaun, but...
Yeah, okay, he's always in, the shadows, and for so long, I thought he just looked like the leprechaun.
He fucking... Because he has that gross face.
Yeah,
but he has,
looks like the leprechaun.
He has, a eyepiece thing.
Yeah.
That I guess it's like a thing that jewelers have,
Yeah.
that like a diamond, like to observe diamonds and shit, to make sure to fucking count
Whatever-
the carat numbers or whatever
whatever
jewelers
jewelers
do. You know, it's a horrible costume. It's a horrible character. He's so unpleasant.
It's a horrible B plot.
He's
There's
just-
no point in it.
And he's so gross too. And so they give the case to Reed and Ben. Ben knocks into this blind lady who is Alicia Masters, Alicia Masters is a very famous Marvel Comics character in the realm of the Fantastic Four, at least. She falls in love with Ben, and the reason she does is because she can't see that he's a
he's a monster.
He's an orange rock man. He's just some thing. So that's like, she's in the 2005 one as well. Like, they're definitely gonna fuck later.
My statue.
yeah, and he fucking destroys her statue, and Reed's like, oh, I know what's gonna go on with you two later. Oh, he's being that guy. And then I swear Ben tells him to fuck off. It sounds like
No,
Ben
he
says
doesn't.
he doesn't, but since this is bad audio quality, it sounds like he says fuck off. And I played it a bunch of times. Mole Man is spying on Alicia Masters. He's like, oh, she will be my bride, which is what happens in Leprechaun 2, the worst movie ever made. He, like, tells his henchmen, oh, you follow Reed and Ben while I leave and do rapey things, because I'm a creepy little troll
Because
man.
I'm the Mole Man.
I wish he was
Not
the Mole
really.
Man. The Mole Man isn't as rapey as this fucking guy is. Doom's henchman is like watching what they're doing. Reed takes this giant glowing orange diamond out of this case and is like, this is gonna power our experiment, Victor.
Why is your spaceship fueled on diamonds?
Because it's a special space diamond, Franny. It probably has, like, the symbiote inside it or something. And Reed feels horrible for what happened to Victor, but he's like, oh, you know, if we can succeed at this, if we can fulfill his dream and finish his project, he won't have died for nothing.
Even though he didn't die. Whatever.
Unbeknownst
they don't know that.
to them. And so they leave the lab, and Reed turns on, like, the laser field. He just turns on a bunch of laser beams protecting the diamond. And Mole Man's spying on the blind lady, and she's just doing her sculptures, and he has to leave. Victor's henchmen are like, oh, we're gonna be ready to move the diamond in an hour or whatever. And so I literally called him Leprechaun in my notes here. So the jeweler's like, he does this horrible, like, he hops through all the lasers.
I never understood the whole laser trap thing in, like, every movie.
Because if you touch it, it signals an alarm.
Yeah, I get that, but why would you purposely leave gaps?
You
Like, the
think you just
perfect
have,
size
like,
for people to
just
jump
a
through.
big fucking thing of lasers.
Yeah, just put more lasers in
Also,
so there's not
it's
gaps.
it's more fun if it, like, cuts off your arm or something. Like, that's
like
cooler.
in the
Like Resident Evil movie, yeah. It's the best scene in that whole fucking movie. That's pretty great. He turns into like a fucking waffle and then just falls apart. That's crazy. So he gets the diamond using his weird gymnastics. Doom sees him get the diamond through the security footage. He replaces the diamond with this weird replica, and Doom plans to steal the diamond so he can be the first to succeed to Colossus, and the Fantastic Four will die in space, or whatever. We get this classic newspaper flip that this movie just fucking loves to do.
It does it like 3 or 4 times.
And every time it's just like, you could probably just say this.
It's very obvious stuff that you just saw happen.
Reed's shuttle is gonna launch today. And so they take off, and you know it doesn't look that bad. It looks fine.
Yeah.
And Reed realizes that the diamond's a fake, which, you know, how's the ship flying if you powered it on a diamond, but then the diamond is a fake? I guess that diamond was still powerful enough and had enough fucking cosmic energy to power a spaceship.
Maybe it uses fuel and diamonds for some reason.
Sure, whatever. Fuck it, because we're about to get some great superpower effects in a minute, so at least we got that going for us. There's a pretty fucking awesome, like, ship explosion, and Dr. Doom does a big old evil laugh to it. Oh, but they all get blasted by light. That gives them superpowers.
Isn't it, like, orange?
In the Jessica Alba one, it's like this, like, radiation storm, and it's also orange. At least it makes more sense. Whatever. 2 out of 4 of the fucking superheroes in this team are orange anyway, so it's fine. Somehow, they're back on Earth. They fell
And
from
also-
fucking space, and they're fine.
Also, the ship exploded in space.
Yeah.
And again, they're fine.
Fran, you're forgetting about all the gravity in space. And the fact that the fucking radiation storm allows them to breathe in space, apparently. Johnny lights a bush on fire after he sneezes at it, and Sue's invisible, and it looks real weird, because clearly they're just, like, filing her out of a green screen. Like, they're basically erasing her with a pencil.
They just use the eraser tool.
Pretty much, yeah. And Reed's powers look the worst. Sue, I can accept. Johnny's don't look that bad. The Thing is pretty impressive.
It's probably the best one until he starts talking.
I don't think it's that bad. I think
it's not
The
that
Thing
bad.
is kind
it
of
just
fun.
looks kind of ugly, and you have to get used to it.
It's good for the time, and
yeah.
for a $1 million budget, not
It's-
bad at all.
It's just the lips.
Yeah, I
hate how they move.
That didn't even bother me. But fucking Reed's are
Yeah, Jesus
horrible.
Christ. His hand always looks like you know the fucking machines where you put a quarter in, you get those like sticky hands. His
like
hand just looks
that.
like those all the time.
It's more like a mannequin hand that somebody's just pushing through, like a
Yeah, they just have
mannequin
a
hand
stick
and a long
attached.
arm that they're just like pushing through, and it's really it's so gross.
And they have like a foam hand.
yeah, and this is the sound that it makes. Every single time. Ben isn't the Thing yet. They've all turned into their different things. Ben
Except for the Thing.
hasn't turned into his thing yet. You know, I think that's comic accurate, so that's fine.
it?
It's just, yeah, I think so. It's just, everybody's freaking the fuck out at Reed, and Reed's like, oh, nobody can find us because we're off the radar. Johnny's hand is on fire. It looks pretty good for 1994. A lot of this looks way better than I thought it would for 1994. Sue's sleeping on Reed, even though they're not together.
And
but, like,
also 10 plus age gap.
they're huddled in front of yeah, exactly. They're huddled in front of this, like, fire to keep warm. Sue's just sleeping on
Very creepy.
32-year-old Reed. Really weird.
Johnny's just kind of cool with his sister just
Yep.
on this
Whatever.
old guy.
Yeah, I guess, you know, whatever. He can shoot fucking flames out of his hands.
Yeah,
He's got other things to worry
He's a little-
about.
I guess he's a little traumatized, but still.
Yeah. Doom also doesn't look that bad. I think the costume's totally fine. He's pissed that they're still alive, but also I don't know how he knows that. I don't know how he has cameras literally everywhere, what he does. He tells his henchmen, he's like, oh, find them, and then he does this huge, big old cape flourish. Always
He
fun.
does it like, and
It's
then
like-
he turns around, and then he does it again.
It's like his signature move. He does it every time he's on screen. Another newspaper that says, like, oh, the Richards crew is presumed dead. So apparently, what fucking Alicia Masters has been sculpting is Ben's head.
Very weird. Out of context, and even kind of with context, just a little weird.
And you know what else is weird? When this fucking guy in a Thor hat shows up,
Yeah.
he has like the wings on the side, and he brings her some head sculptures and wishes her luck on this memorial statue that I guess she's designing. Alright, I don't know why do you have a Thor hat? It's weird. It's bad.
And would she not be able to make a sculpture for all of them?
Because she doesn't know what they look like.
Yeah, and she only
They,
touched...
they wheel in the corpses and they and they let her feel the face. I really thought that he was the mole man around now because he has a weird underground cult of followers.
A weird underground cult of other mole men.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, get the blind girl so he can be our queen. She can be our queen. Don't like that. Don't like that at all. Some ninjas show up and they spray her with kidnap gas and they take her away. Because every villain back then had kidnap gas. It's their one thing.
Chloroform gas.
That's what, yeah, well, I guess so, but it's just this gas that they spray her
Yeah,
with.
it literally just looks like a perfume bottle.
Yep.
Just...
or like a fucking
Or like
Clorox
hairspray.
spritzer or whatever, like fucking window cleaner. Reed and Sue are just full on sleeping together now. Like they're not even just she's not even just like, oh, I'm gonna sleep on you and that's like a nice thing. Like they're under the covers, full on. I guess it's they need to fucking keep warm or whatever. Sure. Why aren't fucking Ben and Reed spooning? That's the fucking cut I want. The army shows up and quote-unquote rescues them because it's not the army, it's like these guys working
It's
for
Dr.
Doom.
Doom's army.
And now Ben's the Thing, and it looks bad
It
objectively, but it's kind of it's kind of
No,
adorable.
I don't think it looks bad objectively. I think it actually looks pretty good.
I mean, just like comparatively to the two later things, which I don't like the 2015 thing. Everyone's like, it's a marvel of special effects. It's one of the best parts of that movie. It's so depressing. He's not orange. He's just like gray rocks. It's really
Ew.
gross looking. I think the 2005 thing looks fucking great, and this thing
Yeah.
looks totally fine. And
Except
you
for the
know,
mouth.
whatever.
I don't know why it bothers me so much.
Because it's like
just
this weird motorized lips.
Yeah,
It's
like Howard the Duck lips.
yeah, it is, but there's not
And
like
they-
a beak to
They move like caterpillars.
why do you have to put that in my head?
Because that's what it looks like.
that's pretty
That's why I
gross.
feel like it's so gross, because that's what they look like.
And Ben's really fucking mad at Reed. But this doctor is such an asshole to Ben.
You have been placed in isolation until we can determine the cause of your condition.
And we find out that Johnny's power word is flame on. You know, Jay, he's having a good time. It's fun. I like Johnny Storm in this. I like all of them actually. They're a good team. There's no weak link.
They're all pretty good.
We get some more invisibility, and the Doctor accidentally gives himself an injection of something, and then we get this fucking disgusting stretch effect. This might be the worst one in the whole movie. And
and with the context, the Doctor's like, give yourself your own shot, and he's like, okay.
It makes no fucking sense. Why would he be on the other side of the room? But he stretches his fucking arm out, and the Doctor then tells Doom about them, and that, fucking Dr. Doom, you could absorb all their powers and become the most powerful man to ever live. So I guess he wants to become the Super Skrull. And Dr. Doom's like, that will be my plan. I'll extract their powers.
He wants to become, the Human Torch in the Silver Surfer movie.
That's the prime example of a character with all 4 powers of the Fantastic Four, Franny. Very good work. Oh, it's so weird when he has all the rocks on him. I don't like it. That's a cursed image. But
when he's on fire with the stretchy hand.
Oh, it looks really bad, but I think that movie's kind of fun. Really fun, actually. I like that one a lot. Is that worse than the Wolverine transformation in that deleted scene? Is anything worse than that?
That's the worst.
It's so weird.
I hate it.
Why does he have why can he grow a beard? A stronger man.
A stronger man.
We get this really Looney Tunes style sequence where Doom's guys capture the fucking jeweler, and everybody is freaking out except for Reed and Ben. The Storms are losing their shit though. They're fucking cooking up a storm, I'll tell you what. And they're like, we're gonna break the fuck out of here. Jeweler refuses to part with the diamond, and so everybody pulls guns on Doom's guys and is like, oh, fuck off, just like, Ben told Reed earlier. Fuck off. And Mole Man is like, oh, you know what? I need you guys to leave so I can have a private consultation with Alicia Masters. I don't want to know what happened there. That's disgusting because it just cuts away. And Doom says that, oh, I'll handle the jeweler myself. And these guards, they come in for blood samples on the Fantastic Four. And the screen shakes around to indicate that the thing beats them up and steals their clothes, pulls the Stormtrooper switcheroo. See whatever episode we talked about that in. That's so bad, right?
Yeah.
Where the screen just does a flip.
It does. It kind of reminds me of
It's hard to describe
the Batman, like the
It's like
Adam
that.
West
It's like
Batman.
it's like the transition. Oh, and we get another DC reference in this later, which is fun.
And don't we get another like Adam West style transition?
Yes,
to
we
Fantastic
really
Four
do.
symbol?
We really do, and it's so shameless. Reed, Johnny, and Sue have the fucking costumes now. Thank God those were the 3 guys in the whole institution who had masks on. So they sneak out and they leave Ben behind. Sue takes out a guard and finds the map of the way out on his computer or whatever. And the guard hits the alarm, and so the thing breaks through a door, and it looks pretty cool. It's very Lou Ferrigno Hulk, where he just crashes through something. They uncover this atomic splitter. Belongs to Dr. Doom. It's a big laser. We'll see it later. It's a big old thing.
It's a big Cyclops laser.
It's a big Cyclops laser. You gotta put your face into it. Apparently the reason that the place they crashed isn't on the charts is because they crashed in Latveria. For those of you who don't know, Latveria is the place that Dr. Doom runs. It's like this small little foreign country that Dr. Doom just has control of, and so that's where they crashed. It's like Wakanda. It's not on any map or anything.
Because it's a fake place, so it can't be on the map.
Johnny's got some, I don't even remember if it's Johnny or the Thing. He's got some puns. He's got some jokes about how he's a big old tin can, big old fuck face. Fuck your mother. Fuck you. I'll fucking shove my down your got really graphic. I wasn't expecting all that from this movie, but they went there, and I appreciate that. Look at my balls. Doom tells them, oh, go back to your room, or I'll really fuck you guys up. And he sends all these guys after them, and we get our very first.
It's clobbering time.
This movie pretty much has all the staples of the Fantastic Four. It does that.
It's clobbering time like 3 times.
Maybe overdoes it, but he says it
anytime after he says it for the first time. It's clobbering time.
Franny, I think you're forgetting that part elastic, part fire, part rock, part
whatever the fuck.
Who was the last one I remember? Part invisible together. it's clobbering time. Johnny burns a hole through the wall, and it looks pretty bad.
No, he doesn't. He tries.
No, he tries. He, like, singes
He
a
tries
wall.
the entire fight.
But
and
he's
then the
consecutively shooting a red laser at the wall for a long time.
Not how the Human Torch's powers work, I think.
The Thing takes out some guys, and, you know, it looks pretty good. It's fun, because he's just, like, he's clobbering people, you know? There's fun action in this. It's not, like, the best thing I've ever seen, but it's fun. You know, it's
feel
fun.
like the Thing takes out the most people in this movie.
Yeah,
he gets so much screen time.
He is the muscle. I mean, you know, he does definitely have the most screen. I think they were proud of that effect, and, you know, good.
Yeah.
Because it's a fun effect.
It should be.
It's a
It
lot
was
of fun.
pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. They were talking about, in that documentary, about how, like, they had 2 different heads for it. One of them was, like, motorized, and then they had, like, just, like, a non-moving head for, like, crashing through walls and shit, so that's kind of fun. I mean, like, they didn't have the budget to make a bunch of Thing suits like a big budget movie would, but they just had the one Thing suit, but 2 heads, so that's kind of...
I mean,
it's
that
interesting,
works.
yeah. And so these fucking guys murder... Like, this is a really family-friendly movie, more so than most of these, but these fucking guys murder each other because of Sue Storm. They machine... It's like in the Spider-Man video game when, like, you get 2 guys to, like, shoot each other or whatever.
They literally gun each other down. There's no blood.
Also...
But there's a lot of bullets.
They're fucking dead. Like, they fucking AK-47 each other. The thing is, Sue does that by turning invisible. She's not... You can't not touch her when she's invisible. So she's still standing there.
Or when,
all those bullets go through her.
No, I think when she went invisible, she, like, ducked down. So then when she goes...
Great.
Yeah. Then she, like, turns visible again and stands up.
Could probably just jumped out of the way.
Yeah,
whatever.
You could have just moved, but alright.
Reed Richards trips some guys when he stretches his leg out real big.
That looks
fucking
gross.
really bad. They used and this is what you were talking about, they used the 4 as the 1960s Batman transition. The do-do-do. They don't do that, but they might as well have. They're in the Baxter building. They just have it. They have the Baxter building.
I think, doesn't the building have a giant 4 on it?
Yep, it does.
So they somehow already have, like, their
they
logo.
They haven't even come up with the name yet. They're back in New York, I guess. There's some, like, you know, good on fucking all the actors in this, but Sue's not great in this scene when she's trying to basically confess her feelings to Reed, and she's just like,
God, why am I always so shy around you?
But it's not the best written scene where she's just constantly talking to herself in front of Reed.
And then when Reed finally listens, it's not even to, like, acknowledge what what she was talking
he's
about.
Like, he explains why they all have their powers. And he's like, oh, they're connected to your they're connected to your personality. Sue, you have invisibility because you're shy. Johnny, you got a real fiery temper, and I'm always stretching myself thin because I'm always worrying about everything. And Ben, you're really,
just an ugly fuck.
You're really strong because you're really strong. I thought it should have been because Ben is rock hard for Reed Richards.
God damn it.
But it wasn't. I was really hoping, they'd just throw me a bone, if you know what I mean.
Why am I even on the show anymore?
You know what? And Johnny's like,
holy Freud, Batman, I think you're right.
Batman, Franny, they did it again.
Batman.
Most of these movies fucking have something.
Most of these reference Batman.
Yeah, it's always Batman or Superman. There's never a Wonder Woman. There's never an Aquaman.
Yeah, because nobody cares about those.
Yeah, I guess not. That sucks. Not back then, anyway. Even though, yeah, but Batman and Superman were the only success. I think it's because Batman and Superman were the only successful movies at the time.
Probably.
Like, Batman had a very successful film series, and Superman, his was over by now, but of course his movies are classics, and so, like, Marvel, this is really the dark age of Marvel, because the only ones that worked were Batman and Superman. DC tried other things. They tried Steel. They tried a whole bunch of shit. They tried that failed Justice League of America TV pilot that was gonna become a whole thing that had every superhero except Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman, but it still had, like, Green Lantern and the Flash and shit.
That's so... Who would watch that?
It's very funny. Martian Manhunter is in it. Really, when you think about it, if you look at the superhero landscape, there were 2 successful series, whatever, fuck you. At this point, obviously the Flash had a TV show going on, or it wasn't going on at this point, but really all that was working was Batman and Superman, because those were the only movies that had any fucking money behind them. Until Blade kind of changed things, and X-Men really changed things, and it's a whole thing. And I do think it's interesting when you just look at the landscape, and it's like, it is like the Western. The superhero movies are closest to the Western, the way that in the 60s, the Western was the biggest fucking genre of anything, and then it's really faded out, and every once in a while you get a really good one, but it's not like a big thing. The superhero movies started out as kind of like this whatever thing. Right now it's the biggest fucking thing, but eventually it's not going to be the biggest thing anymore, and eventually you'll get a good one. The Western was the biggest genre in the world. Now it's not. Superhero movie right now is the biggest genre in the world. It's not always going to be like that, and I think that's interesting. Like, that's the closest comparison.
Yeah. I think it's going to be weird when people just stop seeing, like, superhero movies because they're just, like, tired of them.
Well,
when they don't make $1 billion
anymore. Everyone talks about superhero fatigue as a thing. It's a fucking term that gets thrown around every single day on every single fucking YouTube channel.
I don't think that's a thing yet.
Not yet.
They're making $1 billion, but it's getting there.
It's inevitable because it's been going on a long time.
There.
One genre of film can't always be the biggest thing. Something kicks it off, and then it becomes the biggest thing for a decade or whatever. But it's not always going to be like that. Like, so many things have been the biggest thing ever. Like, post-apocalyptic movies were the biggest thing for a while.
That was
after, like, The Road Warrior.
That was the big thing in, like, the 2000s.
Post-apocalyptic?
Yeah.
More like the 80s, when you have, like...
Yeah, I feel like it was, like, both.
And then you
remember when zombies were a big thing for a while?
Well, that's different. I mean, just, like your Mad Maxes
and
your...
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I don't know, because the landscape of movies is always changing. What people like is always changing, and so superhero movies aren't always going to be a thing. This is probably towards the end of the golden age of superhero movies is what it will be referred to. It's probably going to go backwards, honestly. Usually it goes golden age is what you start with, then silver, gold and silver, bronze. But this is kind of working backwards in a weird way, where it started with the bronze era, where you have like your Superman movies and then nothing else, and then your Silver Age is kind of like your Batmans and then all of these, and then your Golden Age is like MCU stuff and onwards. It's interesting because it doesn't work chronologically like most fads do. Like, it's very different, and that's probably why it's caught on, is just because... But whatever, that's a conversation for a different thing.
That has nothing to do with the unreleased Fantastic Four movie.
Well, it kind of does. I don't know. They're wondering why their changes are temporary, but Ben's change isn't. Ben's like, I don't fucking care, and you guys get to live normal lives, and I don't.
And
Fuck
I'm a monster.
I'm a monster, and I'm
like
leaving. I'm leaving all of you. And you know what? He doesn't even try to wear that, like, the hat and trench coat, like fucking he should.
Yeah, he just goes out.
Yeah, he just leaves. Like, in the 2005 one, he Raphael's it, and he wears a fucking hat and trench coat and walks around. Do you think that Lou Ferrigno Hulk could beat this thing in a fight? I feel like it would be hard because the Hulk could die. I mean,
the Hulk can die from falling too high.
Yeah, he fell pretty high, but we don't know what would happen if the thing fell too high.
Yeah,
he'd probably die, but like, he's tougher than the Hulk. The thing has always been the Hulk is stronger, but the thing is tougher. But like, these are very different because I don't think that Hulk is that strong.
Yeah, I feel like the Hulk would lose.
Sorry, Bill Bixby. That's okay. Rest in peace.
Sorry, Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, rest in peace to your career. He's still alive and well. He's trying to hide behind this diner, but this fucking busboy finds him while he's taking out the trash and freaks the fuck out. And back at the thing, you know, Sue, she makes the uniform. She's a woman, working 9 to 5, something, whatever. Working 9 to 5! She made all the uniforms for Fantastic Four, and there's this pretty good moment.
You look like a dork!
Like a fucking bitch.
Fuck you, Sue. Fucking, you know, all you're good for is making costumes, you dumb bitch. What are you gonna do? Never have force field powers and then just magically have one at the end of the movie?
That was weird.
Hated it. It's a pretty kind of bad design because it's too white. The blue is really weird, and then like it's just like they have like a 4 in the middle of their stomach instead of like in the corner or anything.
Yeah, it's a weirdly big 4, but also it's just put in the wrong spot.
Yeah, it's not a good suit at all.
The suit, just like at a glance, it looks fine, but then you look at it for too long, and then it's just off.
Yeah, it has like a weird cummerbund thing going on. And then Sue's like,
we are the Fantastic Four, remember?
And Johnny's like,
now we're more like the Terrific 3.
Ben's hanging out with the mole people. Alicia Masters. The news is talking about how, she's been kidnapped. And down in the fucking sewer, Alicia's dressed like a fucking queen. And so they introduce the mole man, the jeweler, to the thing. And he's like, oh, you know, you are an outcast, and I am an outcast. And Doom is telling that weird doctor guy from earlier who was being all judgy. He's like, oh, have my laser fully operational when I return from my day trip. His day trip is to go to fucking Mole Man's hideout. They like shoot at Dr. Doom while the bullets ping off the suit. First, Sue asks Reed, he's like, how does Doom know all this stuff about us? And then he's like, oh, it must be Victor.
Cool.
Wow, good work. Yeah, fine.
Took you long enough.
Yeah, it's about fucking time. He captures Elisa. Oh my god. Alicia says that she loves Ben, and Ben turns back into a human.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
It's a weird...
Why does that happen?
You shouldn't be... If all it takes is, like, a woman's love to turn yourself back into a human,
He's not
Ben...
fucking Beast.
No, exactly. He's not, and it's bad. It's almost like this movie's bad. No, it's fun.
No,
I
it's
like
pretty
it a
good.
lot, yeah. But it's that's one of the weirdest fucking effects in the whole movie, when it just morphs off of him.
And then he runs outside and then just turns into the thing again?
Yep, I don't know, but, you know, Dr. Doom's also being real creepy with Alicia, who he's captured. Oh, and he turns back in another weird spinning screen effect. Fucking awesome. Like, why did he change back into Ben Grimm in the first place if he was gonna change back a second later? Now there's precedent that will change him back into fucking Ben Grimm. Doom is talking to Sue, Johnny, and Reed, like, through this, like, TV at the Baxter building, and he says that he has Ben Grimm and that his laser is gonna destroy New York City if they don't surrender in 12 hours. They're not really doing anything. They're just making costumes. They're not a threat. Ben shows back up. They talk about teamwork. I always like a bit in a superhero movie where they're talking about teamwork or being a hero. Always gets me. Sue tells Reed that she loves him, and I hate it. And Johnny says,
I gotta make sure nothing here happens to Sis.
They put their hands in, which is a very famous panel from the very first Fantastic Four that they recreated. So, you know, that's fun. A little bit of loyalty in there. They fly to Latveria. I guess it's the Fantasticar.
Yeah, and why not?
They're all in their costumes. They get trapped by these force fields. Dr. Doom does 100 more cape flourishes, and he does a big old monologue. Syndrome would not be happy.
You sly dog! You got me monologuing! I can't believe it.
I think Incredibles 2 is really bad. Like, I don't think it's objectively bad, but I just think the fact that it should be better.
It should be better.
And that kind of makes it bad. Like, it's not like the movie itself is horrible, but just the fact that it's not that good is horrible.
I feel like it's a decent movie, but knowing that it's Incredibles 2 makes it worse.
And they had 15 years, and, like, that's the best they could do.
Yeah.
It's kind of
And everyone
bad.
sounds so much older.
They should have aged it up. There should have been a time jump.
Yeah.
Make, like, Dash or something the villain.
That's
is what I wanted.
what everyone wanted.
That would have been fun. Or Jack. Make Jack the fucking villain. Jack is uncontrollable. But it's like, oh, what if Jack be Big Baby? It's what we got. You fight a raccoon, be Big Baby. Yeah, alright, great work, fucking Brad Bird. God damn it. I just wish that movie was better, because the first Incredibles is probably one of the best superhero movies ever. And then Incredibles 2 is just... It's fine.
And they give away the villain right away by a fucking name.
Yeah, her name's
the dumbest
Evil
thing
Endeavor.
Ever.
Evil
Yeah.
Endeavor.
So
it's not even like a
it's not even
clever
clever
one. It's just like, oh, these two words kind of sound similar to
Get it?
something
She's
bad.
evil.
Like, obviously, it's for like little kids. Little kids have to be in on it. The first Incredibles I loved as like a real little kid, and I still think it's great now.
Still
That's
a good movie.
That's the charm of like that's what a good family movie does. You need to get everybody in, and not just the kids. And that movie really kiddies it up in a lot of ways. I feel like it doesn't take as many risks. People die in that first Incredibles movie.
Yeah.
There's fucking like skeletons of superheroes. There's a whole scene where he's like, oh, all these superheroes were murdered by the main villain.
Mr. Incredible gets sued for saving somebody from killing themselves.
Exactly. There's a fucking attempted suicide in that first movie, and then the second one.
The first like 10 minutes, there's a bombing in that movie.
And then the second one's like, Big Baby. It's not good. Fuck it. It's not. I don't think it's great.
Raccoons and Big Babies.
I think Big Baby. I think we should talk about Big Hero 6 on this podcast at some point, because it is technically a Marvel movie, and it's really good.
I don't think I've ever even seen it all the way through. I've seen it like 3 times, but not all the way through.
Doom brings out Alicia, and Ben gets really fucking mad. And Doom scientists, they begin stealing powers from the Fantastic Four with a big green laser. And Sue does this. And Reed stretches his leg out of the field. He can stretch his leg out of the force field, Franny.
That doesn't make any sense.
Why can't he escape normally, but he can stretch his leg out? It's still part of him.
The entire point of it is that they're getting shocked and they can't move, so why can he still move his foot?
It's because his leg is made of plastic. Because it's a dummy leg, Franny. That's fake.
Stupid.
But Franny, it's because it's a fake leg, like in the world of the movie, it's not a real force field.
Yeah, no shit.
Like, you're an idiot, Franny. Like, it's obviously a movie. God, don't complain about it, Franny. It's a fucking movie. Fucking idiot, guys, I swear to God. I feel like he doesn't know the difference between movies and reality sometimes. You know, he wears a cape to the recording session every single week. I don't know what's wrong. He's wearing it right now. He's taking his pants off, guys. This is getting real fucking weird. He's still wearing the cape, though. Jesus Christ.
At all.
And I wrote, Sue can't make force fields, and then had to cross that out, because Sue makes a force field. And this is a lot of fun, because they're all, like, using their different powers to take everybody out. It's a lot of fun, until Reed does it. And then it's like, oh, Reed, why'd you have to get involved? It's
Why'd
so
you have to be gross again?
It's so disgusting. And this whole time, Sue never did force field stuff, and then she just makes a fucking force field.
And she does it once, and then never again.
They never talk about how she can make force fields.
There's no time.
If they were explaining earlier, like, her powers, it should have been like, oh, you can make force fields because you keep people out of your life or something. Anything.
But they couldn't explain that because she never used a force field, so they didn't even know she could use it.
Reed isn't able to stop the laser from firing at New York, and they blatantly stole this fucking Star Wars sound effect. Johnny, he knows he can fly. He knew he could fly and cover himself in flame, and he hadn't done it the whole movie.
Yeah.
But he just flies, and he didn't know he could fly.
I don't get why they're just randomly bringing out these, like, powers that they didn't
It's
ever
Deus
use
Ex
before.
Machina powers. In Human Torch, you know, it looks pretty good from, like, when he's flying around. Or no, it doesn't look good when he's flying. It looks good when he's just, like, on fire. Like, it looks pretty comic book accurate.
It just looks kind of...
The second he starts flying,
yeah.
it's all over. Oh my god, it's really bad.
I think my favorite part of it is just that it looks like he's trying to do the YMCA. Like, when he first goes in the air, he just does the Y shape, and then while he's flying, he's just flying in the shape of a Y. Just the entire time, he's just flying like this, and it's weird.
That's how you gotta fly, Franny. Arms out. Arms out. It's for balance or some shit.
Body straight, arms out.
So Ben saves Alicia, and so she just starts rubbing his rock-hard bod. Doom faces Reed, and he has a Freddy Krueger glove. Like, he has, like, blades that come out of the finger.
He doesn't use it.
This is pretty great when Reed just starts punching him and is like...
That's for trying to kill me. That's for trying to kill my friends. And this is for being a real jerk.
And Reed knocks him off of the castle, and I thought that it was going to end like the last movie, where he was just going to fall off a thing and hit every rock on the way down, like Red Skull did. But no, he grabbed onto a ledge. Johnny races and Johnny's still racing to stop the rocket. It looks like that show Reboot. Oh, yeah, Doom's like, oh, Reed, save me, you know, we used to be friends, and I've been like a father to you, Peter. Now be a son to me.
I have a father. His name was Ben Parker.
Boom. Godspeed, Peter.
Oh.
Don't tell Harry. Reed's like, all right, you know, I'm not a fucking asshole. I'm a superhero, and so I'm gonna save you.
Yeah.
And then Doom's like, fuck you. Why are you saving
drop me, coward.
Yeah, you bitch. And then he kills himself.
Yeah.
Kind of. But then he's alive because his fucking glove's moving around.
He's alive because
he's
alive. Of course he is.
You know, got set up for that sequel.
Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Rise of the Silver Surfer. And yeah, I said that he did what President Thomas Kimball never could, and he actually killed himself because of last week when he tried to jump off the fucking tower. Johnny lets the laser fuck his ass. He takes it up the asshole for a long time.
Very out of context.
He does. He's just like letting it fuck him. Like, it's just fucking his asshole for a long time. He's just doing
it like it looks like they just repeated the same animation of him flipping.
Yeah, he's just flipping around, but then it is in his asshole for a long time. He's just taking it up the ass. And then he reflects it, and it blows up the laser. It's a really embarrassing effect for reasons I can't remember because I watched this 2 weeks ago. And Sue and Reed are getting married. And Reed gets married in his costume. Yeah. Wear a suit, Reed.
Ben is there, still as the Thing, even though he has
Alicia. Yeah. He should be able to change back. Classless Reed. And then that's the end of the movie.
No, the movie ends. He sticks his weird gross hand out of the top, and he's waving, and it's so disgusting, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's gross.
This movie ended on a bad note.
But it ended with a lot of fun stuff. And I really enjoyed this movie, especially since it was never supposed to be released, and it's way better than it should be for something that was never going to come out.
Yeah, for not, like, supposed to have ever... Pretty much for not supposed to have, like, ever existed. It's really good.
There's clearly a lot of effort and love behind this, and if you watch that documentary, there's a lot of people behind the scenes who cared about the source material. And, you know,
the actors actually did research.
They did. They genuinely actually cared. They weren't just like, oh, this is a dumb superhero thing. This is above me, like most actors at the time. So, you know, there's a lot of love for this, and there's a lot of heart in it. And that kind of makes me like it more than a lot of these kind of shameless cash grabs.
That's probably why the movie's better.
Yeah, I just think it's genuine B-movie campy fun, and it's definitely got a lot of so bad it's good, but it's not as bad as like a Captain America. Like, it's better than that.
Yeah, it's
better than Spider-Man. It's a lot of fun. It's so goofy and so campy, but I really liked it, and I'm glad to have finally seen it.
And you can watch it on YouTube.
You watch it on YouTube for free. We've been watching a bunch of movies on YouTube for free recently, which is great, and we get to watch another one next week.
Oh, great.
So tune in for 1996's Generation X, a movie I had never heard of. I thought I'd heard of every Marvel movie ever, but a thing I always prided myself on. But then I fucking went to the list when I was making the list of all the movies we have to talk about, and I found this fucking thing that I'd never heard of. And Emma Frost and Jubilee are in it.
What?
They're like main characters, so there's actual X-Men in it.
What the fuck?
It's not Mutant X, it's Generation X, baby!
Oh no.
I'm excited. I give this like a 7 or 0.5 or whatever out of 10. It doesn't matter. These numbers don't matter.
Yeah, they don't.
I keep a list that ranks them.
I need to start making my list.
Yeah, I've just been making it since the start so I can remember how I feel about all the movies at the time of watching them. Maybe
6.5 out of 10. Reed Richards stretched arms.
He stretched a lot of arms.
Yeah.
You think he stretched more arms than anybody else in these movies?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, Lou Ferrigno.
Lou Ferrigno.
Fuck you. Lou Ferrigno probably had to stretch his arms a lot to get that ripped. Probably does a lot of arm stretches, a lot of cat. Like, he does not skip leg day. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Got to work on those calves. You know, iron it all out because, I mean, like, if you're gonna be something like that, if you're gonna be the Hulk, if you're gonna be that kind of alter ego, you really need to not just get yourself into the mindset, but you gotta adjust your body type. And I mean, I think that you gotta. You know, it's important to stay in shape as just in general, but especially if you're taking on a big project like that. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at Marvel Movie Pod. You can email us on our Gmail, marvelmoviepod@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube. YouTube channel is in the description below. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. Even if you're not listening to this on YouTube, you listen to this on iTunes or Spotify or Google Podcasts or fucking Anchor, or wherever you listen to this.
Whatever podcasts are on.
Subscribe. Give us a nice review. You know, I would love to see some reviews come in. I know it's kind of a hassle. Or give us
bad reviews. But at least make them constructive.
You know, I don't want to have a 1-star rating on iTunes. It's probably be pretty bad for us, but whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You can find me on Instagram, shameless self-plug, @FlipDegg. You can find me on Twitter, @FlipDegg, but the E and egg is a 3. Franny was in a space shuttle crash.
Yeah.
He brought his phone with him, and now he always has a different password. It's always just whatever the Google suggested password is. So he doesn't remember any of his passwords for his social media. He's been locked out of all of them. So you can't find him anywhere. You know, it's sad. But at least you got those stretchy arms going for you.
Yeah.
And that cape.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening. Next week's episode, I don't even know what the fuck that's going to be about. I mean, I know what it's going to be about, but I don't know what that fucking movie's going to be. It's going to be crazy. I hope there's like a weird Professor X cameo or something.
It'd be weird if there was.
Oh, he'd be played by somebody so wrong.
What if Patrick Stewart was in it?
And nobody's seen it, so nobody knows! And then after that, we have Nick Fury, and that's all real movies, babies. Real movies all the way!
Yeah.
Oh, I can't fucking wait for real movies. I'm so excited. All right, well, thank you so much for listening. Have a good one, everybody. I'm not going to play that Jeremy Renner song. I'll probably play something dumb at the end. Bye, guys.
I'm telling you now, when I go to Chipotle, I get free guac.